Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Douglas. Let's talk about Claim to Fame S2E4.
Whoops, 4. I put up 3.
Yeah.
Episode 4.
E4.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
Absolutely. And head on over to Patreon. We're doing lots of fun things over there, like watching...
we're just wrapping up Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. Oh my gosh, that's been so much fun.
And the next, who knows what the next thing is going to be, but it's going to be something fun and community-based and all types of goodness.
Thank you. Such a good pitch.
Huh? I don't know.
I just say, hey, come join us on Patreon. Yay!
Gotta have a harder pitch than that.
Yeah. Y'all, this was a fun episode. Once again, Douglas and I couldn't watch it together, so this is going to be our first time chatting
We
about
are busy
it.
people who live busy, professional, and exciting and thrilling lives.
So true, so true.
But here's the thing that I sometimes like about not watching an episode with you.
Okay.
Because you are more of an expert in competition reality shows.
I am an expert.
Sometimes I can feel a little intimidated or when I get super excited about something that happens in an episode, because sometimes I think you're like, that's the most obvious thing that was going to happen. I could tell by the edit that was going to, like, sometimes sometimes you know by an edit what's going to happen.
Of course. Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this one, I was like on the edge of my seat.
I
was so tense. I was sweating by the end of this episode.
Wow. Well, I don't think I was that tense, but it was a very fun ride. And it's always fun to be excited about anything, even... I mean, if you can't figure out what's predictable, even better, right?
Right. And here's the thing. It's not that you like spoil it for me. It's just that I assume, I bet she's already figured it out. She's sitting over there. She's already figured it out. And I, more often than not, have not figured it out. This one was such a good ride.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, let's get started here at the top. Because I was shocked that Shane's over here acting like she purposely misled Jane last episode.
Do
we believe this?
I don't think she believes it, but I think it was good game to present the idea
playing along.
Yeah, she's playing along with it because it fortifies her as a person who can make moves. She's trying to do whatever she can to create value in herself because everybody knows who she is. So she's saying, like, I have to be perceived as valuable so that someone will keep me around.
But I feel like that, because I agree. I was like, I think she's just playing along. I don't really think that they were misleading Jane, because they were trying to get Chris out. They weren't, at least that's what the edit was showing us. I mean, the edit can lie to us, but it seemed like they wanted Chris out. So why would they mislead Jane and get Jane out? But I was like, why do you want to look like a threat, Shane? Like, I don't think it gives her value. I think it makes her look like, whoa, don't mess with Shane.
Yeah, I mean,
it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think it can go both ways. And because she had a good alliance with Monet, seemingly, right?
Very. They seem very close.
I thought that was kind of presenting this idea of, we can make moves, work with us, kind of like a power play.
Okay. Yeah, we're a power duo, work with us. Very possible. I would love to hear what you guys think, if they really were, or what their plan here is with Shane and Monet. But Shane is going to reach out to JR with the clue for Carson's clue. Mm-hmm. And he is able to narrow it down to race car driver, which is what you had put it out, because I struggled with this clue, but you were like race car driver. But they hook into 24 being Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon does not race for a beer. He is DuPont and he is Pepsi. So I'm immediately like, it's not Jeff Gordon.
For beer, because we're pretty sure that's for beer.
Well, it's there's a beer at the end, right? Let me pull it up. But also, But
So
you know who does race for a beer?
Who dat?
You can talk while
Oh.
I'm
Okay. Well, I don't know. So we got the people that we know.
My good friend Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's who races for Budweiser for not anymore, but for many, many moons, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is known to race for Budweiser. And I forgot that I was going to prepare to show this photo, so that's why it took me a minute. Sorry for the delay.
JR doesn't know who JR is. JR is Junior.
Junior. Now, to be fair, Rusty Wallace also raced for Miller Lite forever and a day, and then Kurt Busch took over the Miller Lite car.
Kurt Busch didn't race for Busch Beer?
No. Mm-mm. Feels like a missed opportunity there, don't it?
Are they spelled the same?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure is. That's right. Humble brag. We're not friends. He does not know who I am. I worked with him one time, took a photo.
I got sent to the office for wearing a Busch Beer t-shirt.
Oh my god!
In middle school.
Middle school. You're too young.
And I didn't even bring it. I just needed a t-shirt. I didn't have one, and I pulled one out of like the lost and found. I can't tell you what the shirt said because it was inappropriate. But I didn't even look at it. I just put it on, and then they were like, "How dare you?" They sent me to the office.
Well, that's what schools do. So anyway, in this conversation, I was like, oh no, they've got the wrong race car driver. It's not Jeff Gordon, but I did have a lot of fun listening to them think it was Jeff Gordon.
Me, who is not on my phone and knows very little about racing, was just like, oh, they got it.
Oh, yeah? You thought they got it with 100%. Jeff Gordon?
100%. Yes.
I'm Southern, guys. I grew up watching racing.
I'm not going to know somebody's number in racing.
You don't know 24 is Jeff Gordon?
No.
Oh, that is. Iconic.
I know 23 is Michael Jordan.
Oh, that's a different sport.
From Gordon to Jordan?
Yep.
I know very few sports numbers across the board. Yeah.
Okay, now we get to Chris. Chris is not happy that he was, that people have his clue, that people are talking about him. Glad he's there, that they were wrong. But he's worried about Shane and Monet obviously being a bit of a power couple here.
And I think that right here at this moment, you can start to track. I am fascinated by Chris. I cannot figure out his game plan and his psychological state, or his mental state, because I see him getting stressed, and then I can't tell if he's making decisions based on how stressed he is,
right,
or if they're actually strategy. Because most of the time, with almost anything that he does, I'm like, hey, good idea. Shut up now.
Yes.
Shh, stop talking.
Well, I think that is his mode. He's strategic, but he can't keep his mouth shut. Yeah. He goes a little too far. Yeah.
He strategically overshares.
Yeah. He's
strategic and then he overshares.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah. No, I think he's strategic and then he gets paranoid. Absolutely, Translin. You are just barely late. Join us. Jump on in here. All right. So in this moment, though, Chris is going to sort of identify he's been working with Carson and Olivia, and that he, one of them has to win so that they can get a clue. Like that's where we're setting up right here. They're really just setting up the war of the two sides of the house. That's what we're getting.
So we got Chris, Carson, and Olivia.
Yep.
We've got Monet, JR, Gabriel, Shane. Is that a alliance?
Well, we definitely know
Hugo
Monet and
Cole
Shane.
in the middle.
Yeah. It seems to be. We're going to then go to Monet and Shane, and we're going to hear them doing the same thing. We got to go after Carson, and they're going to identify Hugo and Cole as the floaters in the middle that they want to reel in and get on their side.
How, question for you.
Yes.
How truly aligned are Gabriel and JR, do you think, at this point with Shane and Monet?
I don't think that I think they're on that side, but it doesn't seem as tight.
Right. I think JR has a second level behind him in which he's just like, hey, I'm just JR and I'm hanging out. I think he's paying attention to stuff. Maybe he's not awesome at figuring out clues, but I feel like he would be more of a comp beast if he hadn't hurt that foot. I understand that he's not ultra coordinated.
He doesn't seem coordinated.
I know he's not ultra coordinated, but I don't know. I feel like he's got a gear that he's like downshifted a little.
I feel this way about Gabriel.
Oh, wow.
Gabriel is he's playing this game so well. Like, he looks like he's with people, but he's not. And he's
big energy.
He's got the Sandra strategy of anyone but me. Don't look at me. I love the way that Gabriel has positioned himself. And in this moment here, he's going to be like, I see what Shane's doing, flirting with Cole over there. Setting that up for us. And then we see Shane doing exactly that. She's working on Cole. She's working on Hugo. She's spreading the Jeff Gordon thing. And I'm loving it because it's so wrong.
But I'm loving it because I don't know that it's so wrong. And I'm just thinking of Shane is playing a hard game. She is hardest strategy player in this episode. Yeah. And so I'm thinking like, oh man, it is Jeff Gordon. Is that what you said? Yeah, it is. I'm already lost. I'm thinking, oh, it is Jane Gordon. Oh, this is so great. She's
got it going. That she's giving it out.
Yes, that she's putting that out there to burn somebody else.
Yeah.
So that somebody else might be in the same position that she's in, where everybody in the house knows. Right. That. And if she's the one who told them, then maybe they'll be like, well, she did me a salad.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you are, I mean, the reason she's doing this with Hugo and Cole is because if for some reason it's wrong, they're not her closest allies going out the door, right? It's not like she's setting Monet up to do this.
Ooh. And I think
because she wants to protect Monet.
Yeah, more and more throughout this episode, and definitely by the end, I'm like, oh, don't cross Monet.
Oh, well, sure. Well, don't cross any of them. They all seem to be pretty like, don't cross me. Let's get to this challenge.
Yes, let's get to this
challenge. This is fun. I love anytime someone gets blindfolded. Mm-hmm. I also want to say, Roz Girl, thank you so much for not giving us any spoilers. We are definitely spoiler free over here. Yep. Appreciate you guys in the chat.
Especially me. Don't spoil things for me because I love ride. Sarah, do you remember when I made you and David blindly pick things out of a sock?
Yeah.
I love a good blindfold challenge, and I love what our hands tell our brains.
Well, I love watching people just go nowhere near anything. It's the best. We're gonna have 3 teams of 3. They're going to have to feel statues and try to figure out what it is while blindfolded. Right. Perfect. Great. Simple, set, yet so fun.
What I liked about this, and maybe many people have done this challenge before, but what I liked about this was the size of the things were so huge that it wasn't like a hamburger the size of a hamburger.
Right. No, they're huge statues.
Or even like 3 times the size of it that you can figure out. But it was that big that it was just like, I don't know what this is.
Right. And that shrimp seemed really hard to figure out, right?
Yes, of course.
People are like, what?
Because anything could be that shape.
I guess.
It could be a sloth curled up in that shape. It could be
like a saxophone.
Definitely. Somebody said saxophone.
Did they?
Yeah, it could have been a saxophone.
A saxophone. We got a blue team with our Captain Cole is with Olivia and Hugo. Orange is Chris with Shane and Gabriel. Green is Carson with Monet and JR. These are interesting teams.
Yes.
The way people are split.
So if we're looking at that blue team, what did you think of Olivia's strategy? I thought it was great.
Yeah, we see Olivia saying, I'm going to try to find them all, but not say anything.
She's trying to throw the comp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've heard people thus far in my experience in this really voicing the idea of that, I'm really trying to throw this comp.
Yeah.
And has that happened before?
In this season, I don't think so.
Did it happen last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you mix up your teams like this is a good opportunity to try to put someone in the bottom. But I also just like the idea of, hey, I'm going to try to figure out as many statues as I can and not share because they're technically clues.
Right. So I'm not sure she played it that well. I would have liked to see the whole 5 minutes of her trying to do that.
Yeah.
Because for me, you could have done just as much. I understand what she was trying to do. But maybe it's too much brain work to be like, okay, I think I'm feeling a shrimp, but I'm going to say, this is saxophone. This is saxophone. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Does that require?
Yeah, but she was trying to throw it. So I guess she was just like, I'm going to pretend like I'm not doing anything.
Right. But she was trying to not give them things, but she was trying to figure them out for herself.
Right.
So I don't know why she wasn't shouting out things that it could have been.
Right. Other things.
Yeah. I think this is a dog.
Oh.
I think this is I think this is some sort
then
of
I think
animal.
you might get caught that way. Like, it's just easier to just be like, don't say anything, and be like, I don't know what I found. No, I didn't find anything. Right? If you start screaming out wrong things, you could get caught.
Yeah.
Throwing it.
But I think they showed a couple things of like, hey, Olivia, come over here, or Olivia, where are you? I'll come to you.
Right.
And it seemed like maybe she wasn't participating in that conversation.
So Gabriel also had a fun strategy where he was like, I'm going to find them all, but then let other people figure out what it is, which I think helps give him a little bit of a leg up because he's going to try to find out more, right?
Yeah.
And they're not going to get them all to them. So again, I'm loving Gabriel here.
Who is not an athlete.
We get...
So he says.
A few random clues here, like the Swiss cheeses for Cole.
Right. He tells us that, right?
Yes, he tells us that.
So do we think that's Chef?
No, the chef was on somebody else's head, JR's head.
So who's what? The chef? Was a chef hat? Oh, there was a chef hat on somebody.
Does Swiss cheese have anything to do with Alicia Keys? Because that's what they're saying in the house. Alicia Keys. Yeah.
Does she have a song called Swiss Cheese?
I don't remember her having a song called Swiss Cheese. Does anyone have any idea what the heck Swiss cheese is?
Old Swiss Cheese Keys? Is
that her nickname? Yeah.
Old Swiss Keys?
Old Swiss Keys. Uh-huh.
Did the people call her Swiss Keys?
And then Gabriel is like, oh, this burger is for me.
And then we get that's what that hat is.
But he's very well clearly telling us it's not Keenan or Kel is his relative. He's like, my relative is in Good Burger with Keenan and Kel.
Oh, I thought he was saying it was.
He said his relative was with.
This is another reason why when I watch it separate from Sarah, I have a completely different experience.
Okay, her husband is Swiss cheese or beets.
Swiss beets, right? Ah,
thank you.
Interesting.
So is Nick Cannon, that's my question, is Nick Cannon in Good Burger with Keenan and Kel? Because that was, I really want Nick Cannon to be this drum line. Carson is very clearly telling us the tire and the steering wheel are her, so we are all correct on the race car driver.
Oh, race car driver.
We already established that.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking car company executive.
Oh,
or famous car salesman.
For beer?
Yeah, a famous
CEO of beer.
Yeah, somebody who maybe he's their famous long haul trucker who carries beer. Let's list the most famous long haul truckers that we can think of who travel beer.
Yeah, let's think about all the long haul truckers that we know, guys.
Jerry Reed from Smokey and the Bandit.
And that's it. That's the end of that.
They had a long way to go and a short time to get there, because there's beer in Texarkana. Although thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana. So he's a trucker who carries beer. Guys, I think Carson's related to Jerry Reed.
Wow, you figured it out.
That's my hot take. It's Jerry Reed, no doubt. Does anyone in the chat right now even know who Jerry Reed is?
They don't even know the lines that you just said. They're totally lost. They think you've gone off on a tangent and are having a stroke.
No.
Yeah.
In Atlanta and the beer in Texarkana. Bring it back no matter what.
All right, so Nick is connected to Keenan and Kel. We'll see. He had a cameo. Great. I'm going to call it. I'm not going to call it. But I love it. I love that they go together. Green is going to get 3 correct. Blue is going to get 2.
Can I just go real quick and say, if somebody knows that from Good Burger, like if somebody figures that out, that could actually work in his favor because they could guess Keenan or Kel.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still working in that athlete world, but if they get there, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, back to points.
Green team is going to get 3. Blue is going to get 2. But orange is going to pull it out with 5 correct. Way to go. That means Chris, as captain, is immune. Blue team having the lowest score. Thank you, Olivia. You threw that very well. Cole is now going to be in the bottom, and he's going to choose Hugo to be with him. I was surprised by this. I thought it was going to backfire on Olivia, and she was going to be in the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Did you?
I did, because he's so close to Hugo, or seemingly they're close. But he explains it, and I loved his explanation that, like, the both of them are in the middle. That forces the house to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I liked hearing him say that.
That was smart, and it was, you started to see what Cole does when his back's against the wall, or when he's in the hot seat, and you're like, oh, he's thought about this.
He has.
He knows where he is in the house.
There's more behind those beautiful eyes.
Yeah. Now, and I was completely sold by the edit that Shane's flirtations with Cole had worked.
Sure. Well, I think they had worked, but let's get there, because some other things happen. It's not just flirtation. So we see Hugo first here. Now that the house has to communicate, get ready for this guest off, Hugo very clearly knows he is playing both sides. I'm back to giving Hugo credit. I think he's very strategic, and he is doing the work with both groups. First with Carson.
He's a little in that Chris camp for me, where I think he's strategic, but not the same way, not that. But I think he gets a little overconfident about his strategies.
Well, he might get a little overconfident, but I think the information he gives out is chosen, whereas Chris
chooses
vomits.
And then he just chooses again, and then he chooses again, and then he chooses a couple more times. Just like, shh.
That's right, Hunter. So he's going to go ahead and just reveal to Carson, like, Shane has your clue. Yep, absolutely. And then he's going to run to Shane and Monet and, like, try to get all the information. Like, he's up for being a guesser. He's like, let me in on this information. He's doing his stuff. This is obviously going to make Carson freak out. She's now very worried.
And I had thought she was, I mean, I think this is the way that I would be in the house. Well, I don't know. I'd be in the house for approximately 3 seconds. I'd be like, oh my goodness, none of you are going to guess that. I mean, just growing up in Eddie Murphy's house, I don't think I would say that. I'd be like, I'd blow my own. I'm saying I would blow it for myself.
Oh, you'd be like, I love my dad, Eddie Murphy. I mean, oh, shoot.
I was like, well,
that's what you do.
When, or that would be my lie. And my dad is not Eddie Murphy.
You're like, but whatever you think it is, it's not who my dad actually is.
No. Yeah.
Chris is going to get to pull his winner clue. He is going to be like, you know what? I don't know about this shifty Hugo.
I was surprised by that, but
smart.
Pleasantly surprised.
Here we go. This was the easiest one for me. You said you didn't get it.
I did not get it, but I had already thrown out that possibility.
Yeah, I think we talked about this possibility last week on the stream. If no one wants to talk through the clue, please pause and come back later. But to me, it looks like Commander in Chief, who, because it's that back of the head with a question mark that they use for who, farms. And those are 2 emoji with googly faces, so I'm going to say nuts. Commander-in-Chief who farms nuts.
I say come and buck. Arrow. Police.
Uh-huh.
These are literally the things that came in.
These are the things we were saying. Yeah.
I didn't know that was who. I thought it was Beck or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
And then I put American Gothic. And then I did not have anything for those googly faces.
Well done, Douglas. Well done.
So I was not getting anywhere.
Yep. What to learn for claim to fame is that is the in. They use the same thing for in, and they use the same thing for who, which is the back of the head with a question mark.
And
the shirts for decades.
Tees. Yeah, for
tees.
decades.
Those are definitely things to learn here. So you guys who had already picked up on the peanuts on the wall, I think you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Commander-in-Chief is president. Who farms nuts would be Jimmy Carter. That would be my guess.
No little liver pills.
But we learned last week that Carter liver pills has nothing to do with Jimmy Carter.
Doesn't have anything to do with Jimmy Carter. It's a brand of liver pills.
Just a brand of liver pills. Who takes liver pills? I didn't even know that was a thing. Yay! Well, that's exciting. Jimmy Carter's grandson is pretty darn good at this game.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Way to go, Hugo.
I think the more seasons this game goes, I think they're eventually going to be well, there's so many ways that the show could go, but one of them would be that you have to guess the relation.
Yeah. Oh, I would like that to be part of it too. It's so easy to just say
the celebrity.
It's not completely easy. Obviously, you can get it wrong, but like it's so much harder to say niece of or grandson or whatever. Because you could have a cousin or something that could get really complicated.
Right.
Okie dokie. So that's Chris getting that clue.
What are all the various family relations that you could
have? Hugo, he's like not sure about this Shane and Monet thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like he looked at the clue. He's like, I don't know if I can trust them. They might have sent Jane out. He's not really sure he's feeling it. But Cole is like, he's in it, right? Because he's in love with Shane. Mm-hmm. I think he really is feeling the Shane vibes. So what's he going to do? He's going to go sit down with Carson. Because he wants to say the name Jeff Gordon and see how she reacts.
Yeah.
How do you think she reacted?
She reacted like, oh my goodness, that's it.
Oh, you thought?
Yeah. Because she went, and then she got up and ran out of the room. Like, yeah, because she went, I'm not good at reading faces. I thought the same thing when Chris was up there and he went,
yeah. Oh, right.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that means that he's relieved. He goes,
yeah.
Pufferfish puff off when they get stressed. So the way I read her face was, oh, she's worried.
It looked like her eyes didn't quite get tense. It looked like a little bit of relief in her eyes. But then again, I know it's not Jeff Gordon, so I'm probably reading into it. And you thought it was Jeff Gordon, so you're reading into it.
Yeah.
You know, you see what you want to see.
You see what you want to see. Are you good at reading micro expressions?
Yeah, I am. I'm good at reading people in general. I can't tell what that was.
Neither can I.
So calm is what I think. All right. So Carson is going to go running to Chris, who she is like, Chris is my closest ally. I'm going to go to Chris and be like, they've got the wrong name. They said Jeff Gordon. And then Chris is like, I don't know if I can believe her. He doesn't think they're the closest allies to each other. What is happening in Chris's head at this point?
He is simultaneously, calmly telling us, I got a plan. And then completely off the rails.
Yeah. I was like, why is he worried that she's on his side? This was so bizarre that this is what sent Chris into a path. But I don't hate it because the fact that he reveals the information to Gabriel and then Hugo, he's like, look, I don't know if this is real, but this is what Carson told me, which just gets the information out there without judgment. Like she could be setting us up or she could be telling the truth. And now they know, we're just not 100% with Jeff Gordon. Right.
And did we see that get back to Cole?
We don't see it get back to Cole. We get this great scene where Chris and Gabriel and then JR is there, and they're like, dude, just stay out of it. Like, this is weird. Like, we don't know. Oh my God, it might not be Jeff Gordon. And then Cole enters. Awkwardness ensues, but they don't say anything to Cole, right?
We don't know. Yeah. We don't see it.
What we see later makes it look like Cole overhears, but all of these people set him up. Like, all of these people are like, let Cole die if he's gonna die. Like,
in reality?
yeah,
Okay.
he walks into a room and they don't give him the information, right?
Okay.
So they're setting him up to go down in flames if he's wrong.
50-50, yeah.
Right. Okay, just keep that in mind because I'm about to talk about that later. Because I was like, what are y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
Poor sweet Cole. Okay, let's go to the guest house.
Poor sweet Cole. When did Chris do his overdump? Was that when he was going back between Gabriel and yeah.
Right.
Because there was like a time when I was like, shh.
Yes.
You said it once. Don't say 4 more things.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. She said no to Jeff Gordon, but is she setting me up? I don't know. Is this her last ditch effort? I don't know. Is she my ally? I don't know. Like, he just kept talking. Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Does anyone know that he has Hugo's Cluzos?
He didn't. No, we didn't.
Clugos?
He didn't give it to us at that time.
Inspector Clugo.
All right. We're at our guess off. Cole is voted as the guesser.
Yes. I was not surprised about that.
Yeah.
But I am on pins and needles.
Pins and needles.
So stressed.
Were you guys stressed at this point? Sophie, thank you so much for the super chat. They do a season 3 of this. Do you think they would change the format in some way? I don't know.
I think they have to start tweaking it.
Yeah.
Towards difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of shows do, they have to kind of hack. The more people watch, the more people can figure out celebrity connections. The more people do a bunch of research before they come on the show. That type of thing. Like when you become a fan of the show, and they start having fans of the show on.
Yeah.
I think they'll have to start mixing it up, making it harder. It maybe adding a component like you have to know the relationship.
The very little changes they did for this season, I think, have been perfect.
Yeah.
But not huge format changes.
No.
So.
But the game went up a notch, definitely.
Yeah, so it's not surprising here that we get Cole voted in as the guesser. But what we didn't know is that Cole overheard some things and is not sure that Jeff Gordon is correct for Carson.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, we hear him say, I'll take Shane, please.
Whoa.
They're like,
that's what I was like. When he said that, I was like, oh, because I was actually wanting him to do that because I was like, don't get played.
Oh, yeah. You don't want him to get it wrong.
I don't like seeing people get played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were setting him up to like possibly be the wrong guy and get out.
And this is what you get. The easy out. I'm going to take that easy out because y'all mess with me.
Exactly. If you're not 100% sure that this is right, go with the one you are pretty darn sure about. And obviously he knows Shane because everybody knows Shane. But everyone is shook. I'm shook. You're shook. We're all shook.
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
She gets up there. She's obviously not happy because she's pretty sure everybody knows.
She's not making eye contact with him.
Her boyfriend.
She's like,
she's not happy with her boyfriend. And you know what? He's going to say Eddie Murphy. And guess what? That is correct.
What? Yeah.
We got a video.
We did. We got a video from Eddie Murphy,
who politely pretended like he watched the season. Was like, oh, that was fun. Fun times. Come on home.
Yeah. Well, they pre-recorded these 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just say,
months ago.
Just, but if it's your daughter, yeah, I think you gotta.
Yes, it was very nice of him to do a video. Seems to be the thing they're trying to do this season. So that was great. And she's like, yep, he's my dad. She had nice things to say about her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Have you ever seen Eddie Murphy out in the wild?
No.
Something with the coffee bean and tea leaf.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah. over at
he doesn't go out in public.
and that's what it was. He said it was part of his he was working with his therapist. This was like many years ago.
Yeah.
Starting to go out and do more things because he was so iconic. He would get mobbed by people, and so he really kind of shut himself into his little compound there.
He did.
And then he was telling the lady because when I pulled up to the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, there was this gorgeous Rolls Royce sitting out. I was like, all right, well, we have more millionaires per capita in Los Angeles. You're going to see some Rolls Royces. Yep. But you always wonder, hey, whose Rolls Royce is that? And then you go in and Eddie Murphy was the person in front of me in line. So I was like, oh, I bet it was his Rolls Royce. And then he says to the gal something along the lines of, I'm practicing going out and doing things.
I love that he said it. Yeah, I had a friend who did a movie with him in the late 90s, early aughts. And he said it was really difficult because he was in the middle of his whole recluse, like really terrified. He'd gotten like tons of death threats and like he was just way too famous in the 90s. And so he got to a point where he could not go out. And when he was shooting a movie, he always had to go to work, but he had so much security. And it was like, go to set, go to a trailer, go, like always hiding. So yeah, he's been through some things. You don't see him out.
And I think the movie Bowfinger is a good exploration of that, which he is in, playing two versions of himself, playing himself. What?
We're not friends with him. You just live in LA. You see lots of celebrities.
What?
Humble bragging.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't hang out with him.
But I think Bowfinger is a good movie because it feels like that exercised some of those demons. Exorcised, not exercised.
Sometimes your demons need exercise.
They do. Trust me.
You know?
And I appreciate that when they give me a call and they're like, hey, man.
Back to this. Poor Shane walks out. They're like, we love you. Bye. And then Gabriel, even Chris, they all have the audacity to be like, whoa, dude, harsh, sent your showman's home. And I was like, y'all set him up. They were like, Cole, you're going to go home.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't. And they're like, how dare you?
Now, would you go around to those people and say, next time, give me the information that you know?
No, poor Cole doesn't. Like, what do you say in that moment? Because I think he wisely is keeping some information close.
Right. I would just be like, what are you talking about? We're playing a game in which you send people home when you know who they are. I knew who that person was, so I sent that person home.
This is why you can't be on these shows. You just don't say that stuff.
Did I miss the purpose of the game? I'm sorry. I played the game that we all signed up here to play.
Bad for Cole. Like, I'm sure he wanted to be like, I didn't want to send her home, but like, I just didn't know about Jeff Gordon. But he's probably going to say that one-on-one with the important people in his game. But like at this point, he's just like sitting out in the group and they're all like, claim it. You did it. I felt so bad for Cole in this moment.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I picked that up.
Oh. Well, and I also feel bad for Monet because she did lose her little number one here. They were doing some really good work at this point. But
with her confessional, you really got kind of the understanding that, like, she was manipulating Shane, I think.
Oh, you thought? You picked that up?
I think she seems like she is a bit of a... Who's the person from Shakespeare whispers in people's ears?
I don't know Shakespeare references, and I don't think that's...
Like the power behind the throne?
Sure. Well, she might be. Monet has definitely been one to watch.
She's going to be making moves. She's going to be making moves in the next episode.
I feel bad that she's going to go after Cole now because I feel like Cole was in a bad spot. But we do get this great flashback where we see Shane and Monet putting clues together for Cole. This is when we see the piano keys. This is when we see Diary, which is a song of Alicia Keys. And you guys confirmed Swiss Cheese does go with Alicia Keys as well. So feeling Alicia Keys for Cole. That does feel like that might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled that like throw somebody else in my mental mix of like, oh, they figured something out that I had no idea about.
I love this season that they're wrong a lot. I love that everyone seems like they're trying to play the game. Like even Cole has barely been in this edit. But,
thank you, Coco Svengali. Svengali.
Thank you, Coco.
That's what I was looking for.
I love that everyone seems like they're playing even Cole, who we didn't know if he was playing, but he is.
Yeah.
Like we learned that in this episode.
Yeah. So I want to know.
That's what I'm loving.
The person whose game I don't know is, I don't know what JR's game is.
You don't know what JR's game is? Okay, fair.
And
he's had
we got a little peek into Olivia, but you can only play the I'm not gonna choosing inaction. That's
well, I don't think that was inaction. She chose to throw it for her group because we learned she's with Chris and Carson. So she was doing it for her group.
Is she sharing information with them?
It seems like it. That's what she said. She was like, the only people talking to me are Carson and Chris. So it seems like she's on that side because they're sharing info. And so she threw it in to help them. So I don't think that's an action. I think that's good strategy for her. But we still haven't learned much about her. I'm still on Molly Ringwald because of just first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But what I'm saying is I'm loving this season. And this was a great episode.
Yes, this was a great episode. The tension at the end. Oh my goodness. I was, before Cole made that decision, I was on the edge of my seat. I was so tense and I wanted him to pick Shane because I was like, don't get played, dude. Don't get played.
Yes.
And the fact
he had to protect himself.
Didn't get played was great.
Good on him.
I did not even come close to figuring out that clue. And
I love it when I get a clue before Douglas. Little smarty pants over here.
What are you talking? I never wear pants.
Shh. Don't tell me.
That's why we shoot this thing from the waist up.
Yes, I hope we have 10 seasons. It's so good. And you guys who are joining us live in chat, I appreciate it. We had to readjust the schedule this week. We are a day late, obviously, but we should be back on schedule next week. But then when Big Brother starts, you guys, I have no idea what my schedule is going to be. So stay tuned to that. It's going to get real wild over here. And then Amazing Race and then Survivor. We're going to get busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! All good stuff.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
I know. I keep telling them, go be on Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or something. Go win us some millions of dollars.
Not on Jeopardy.
Okay.
Jeopardy, you don't win enough money.
That's true.
For the amount of work you do on Jeopardy, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
On that one.
All right. All right, you guys. If you're joining us later, please leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking about these clues, this cast, this who's related to who. What do you think? No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yay! You don't think Carson could have been lying to get the heat off her? No, she absolutely could. I just don't think the clue leans towards Jeff Gordon.
What Sarah doesn't know,
because Jeff Gordon didn't race for beer.
Got a new sponsorship this year and had to change his number to 24, and now races for Budweiser beer.
Even if he started racing for beer this year, he's iconically known for Pepsi, not beer. So it's not Jeff Gordon.
Maybe that was a mug of Pepsi.
Oh, if you're serving Pepsi in a big ale mug.
Guys, if you ever serving me a Pepsi, first of all, make it a Coke. And secondly,
first off, Pepsi's disgusting.
Big old frosty mug.
Coke is much better.
Big old frosty mug of Pepsi.
Or Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what that's the old people say. Oh,
yeah,
grab me a mug of Pepsi. Yeah.
A big old mug. Frosty mug of Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon is retired, so I don't think he's racing for beer, guys.
He came out of retirement. These are things that I know.
Dale
you guys don't
Jr.
know them.
Or Rusty Wallace or Kurt Busch. These are my names that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Float. Yeah, exactly. If it were a float. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Jerry Reed.
Yep. Back to Jerry Reed. Oh, Lord. All right. That's it for us, you guys. We will see you next week. Bye.